Good evening. Roll call.
Councilwoman Burnham,
Here.
Councilwoman Morgan,
Here.
Councilwoman Lewis,
Here.
Councilman Dipridge,
Here.
Councilman DuPont,
Here.
Council President Murphy.
Here. Sunshine statement. Got it. See that? You have to excuse the air conditioning in the building. We've been having trouble with it over the week, so tonight we're going to try to move it along a little bit. So just bear with us.
Let the minutes reflect in compliance with Public Law 1975, Chapter 231, Open Public Meetings Act, that notice of this meeting has been provided by notifying the Asbury Park Press, the Two River Times, and the Star Ledger, and by placing a notice on the bulletin board and filing same with the Borough Clerk on January 1, 2014.
Approval of minutes. Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Mayor appointments. Have any mayor appointments tonight? Reports of mayor and council. Councilwoman Burnham?
I just,
Go ahead.
are these not at work?
Yeah, they were down the other day.
They were. Mine's.
Maybe slide over to the
Let me
next
spread.
one. Maybe slide
It's
over to
red?
the next one.
Okay, this, that's all right. Hey,
That's not working.
this is working. That's okay. Can you hear me? I'm sure you guys can hear me.
Yeah, I need not to take that. You don't take that.
Okay, well, on May 30th, Red Bank Regional had its first Gay Straight Alliance evening, and it was very well attended. We had 150 kids. It was very interesting because kids from ages 13 to 17 throughout Monmouth County came. And it was wonderful. There was all these kids were just having a ball. It was they danced. They had DJ. They had foods. They had refreshments. There was not one kid that didn't have a good time. And you know, these kids have it hard anyway. It's hard being a kid nowadays, but if you're different. And they all were together. They supported each other, and it was just a wonderful evening. So that's oh, then I have one more thing that I want to talk about, but I think that should wait till old business regarding the garden, the cutting the grass at the garden, but I'll bring that up at a different time. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Kathy?
Yeah, I have a report about the library. I'm very happy to report that the hours have been expanded already. So Monday, Wednesday, and Friday is still 1 to 5 as in the past. Tuesday has now been expanded from 10 to 2 to 10 to 5. Thursday was 5 to 9. It's now 1 to 9. So Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 1 to 5. Tuesday, 10 to 5. Thursday, 1 to 9. So thank you, Elizabeth McDermott, and the staff over there. You're doing a great job. Sierra Williams Tuesday Story Time has been very successful. There were 33 people yesterday. And the Thursday Story Time is now at 1:30. Sierra also has summer reading programs, including an ice cream party, which sounds great, if anybody likes ice cream, which I do. And the Library Foundation is still looking for a few volunteers for the Rockin' Country Festival. And you can find these flyers outside on the ledge, and it gives you information about them. So if anybody would like to volunteer to help the library out, please contact the library. And the next board meeting is June 19th. And it's open to the public, so everybody's invited. And that's it.
Councilwoman Morgan, what are the hours again that were expanded, just for the record?
Okay.
Tuesday is now 10 to 5. It was 10 to 2, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Thursday is now 1 to 9 p.m., and it was 5 to 9. Why? What are you all laughing at? Did I say something?
You're just happy that they're...
Oh, I thought I mixed it up somehow, you know.
That's all right, that's fine. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. Let's see, Councilman DuPont.
Yes, I have nothing to report other than I wanted to thank Councilman Dipridge, Councilwoman Lewis and Councilwoman Horgan for participating in the Gay Pride event that was, I believe, last night. And Cindy alluded to the fact about, it's difficult being a kid, being different. I think last night's event, I wasn't able to attend last night's event, but the prior years, it does make a difference. You do offer kids support, and I think Kathy and Juanita and Ed, who've spearheaded this event for the past couple of years now, you see people come in with no burdens and no fears and no worries, and I think that is kind of typifies what Red Bank is about, and that's the inclusiveness. And I think our Human Relations Committee has set forth that mission statement, and hopefully we accomplish that. So that being said, I wanted to give all three of them kudos, and other than that, I have nothing other to report. Acting Mayor Murphy, and I'll see you,
Thank you, Councilor.
see you in the library on Tuesdays.
That's it. Thank you. Thank you. Councilman Zippich.
Thanks, Mr. President. I sort of thank Councilman DuPont. We did have a good evening last night, and I know that Councilwoman Berman was at the gala event last week at RBR, and that it's not only around the county, but it's around the whole state that kids participate. There are 17 high schools around the state of New Jersey that sent kids to that event, so it was great that you were there to witness them having a great time and being themselves. From the DPW front, I am pleased to announce that the Department of Public Works has rolled out a ComStat program. Last Wednesday, I met with the entire team in our first official capacity. The department director, supervisors, foremen, and team leads from each division of DPW were on deck to report on operations. ComStat is a performance-based management group responsible for continually improving the quality of services provided to the citizens of Red Bank. ComStat evaluates policies and procedures practiced by borough departments for delivering all manners of services, from investigation to pothole repair. Staff analysts examine the data and perform investigations in order to identify areas in need of improvement. The DPW divisions are required to participate in a highly particularized presentation format designed to maximize accountability. Divisions must be prepared to answer questions raised by the council liaison or his designee at the ComStat session, which are held every 4 weeks. And I will note that as a result of its success, the ComStat model has been adopted by local governments across the United States and around the world. The department staff members are to be commended for stepping forward to better serve the department and our citizens. Many of you may be doing some spring cleaning still and changing wardrobes as we're trying to figure out whether summer is actually starting or not. But I've spent some time with the lunch break team down at their Shrewsbury warehouse over the last several weeks. And it was brought to my attention that there are items of clothing that many donors overlook when donating to the Suited for Success campaign that Lunch Break employs to help dress candidates for job interviews, and that those items are socks and hose. Suited for Success is in need of socks and hose for job seekers as they are dressing in suits and business attire. So over the summer months, I will be establishing collection points for dress socks and hose to help supplement their Suited for Success campaign. And in the meantime, if you have any items that you want to spring clean out of your wardrobe that can be used by other folks in need, you can drop them off at lunch break at their warehouse on Shrewsbury Avenue. You can call the clothing coordinator in East Hennessy at 732-747-8577 or email clothing@lunchbreak.org. The warehouse is open weekday mornings until 1 p.m.
Where is it on Shrewsbury?
It's, you know where the A&P is, down going towards the Americana Diner? Holiday Express, and there's a small warehouse facility there just before you get to that shopping plaza. It's on the right when you're heading south on Shrewsbury Avenue. And last Saturday, I represented the council at the Blessing of the Bikes at Pilgrim Baptist Church. It was really a great day weather-wise, and Pastor Porter was pleased to have good weather and so many community members from all over present for the day of fellowship and camaraderie. It's always great to see everybody having a great time and all those great motorcycles pull into the parking lot there. And on Sunday, I was given proud to represent the Mayor and Council at the Bates Lodge Senior Luncheon. It was another great event with so many of our senior residents in attendance. And the Exalted Ruler and board members were really appreciative of the fact that we were there to recognize their contribution to the community. And lastly, I wanted to thank the Count Basie Theater, the 077Q1 LGBT neighbors, the Mayor and Council President Murphy for their participation last night at the Two River Pride event. The Basie opened its doors. They hosted 3 short films. Josh Zuckerman, the musician and actor, provided entertainment for us, and area restaurants from all over Red Bank sent food and dessert. It was a really happy Pride event, and the kids came from all around the county, and many stayed on to see the free film Philadelphia that the Basie put on. So thank you, and that's all I have.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilwoman Lewis.
Borough President, I don't have a report, but I do have an announcement. Finally, the Count Basie basketball hoops will be installed tomorrow, and the surfaces will be completed in another 2 to 3 weeks. So by hopefully the end of this month, we'll have a new basketball facility at Count Basie Field.
Thank you very much. I'm short. Just want to notify everybody that we had some firefighters graduate from the Middletown Fire Academy last week. Tyler Pointer, which will be appointed to Westside Hose, Andrew Hill, Westside Hose, Andrew Salino, Madison Cook and Ladder, and Brett McDonald, Independent Engine Company. They all go to the fire academy out there. It's like it's the same as going to the county fire academy, and it's a very good school. So these individuals have all been cadets before with the borough. So we have 4 new additions to the volunteer fire department, which is good because we're always looking for volunteers. Also, last night I attended the funeral of Elizabeth Kane, and most of you might know Elizabeth Kane as a crossing guard with the borough of Red Bank. I know I have some Little Silver residents in the house. She was the young lady who stood at the corner of Prospect and Rumson Road. Suddenly passed away last week, and she was involved with the borough in many different ways, with the schools, with the Girl Scouts, with our fire department, Women's Auxiliary. So she's dearly going to be missed, and her family's longtime members here, as well as her husband was a 30-year police officer here as well. So she's going to be missed, Elizabeth Kane. And just to put it on record, the fire department responded to 43 Mama Street for a work instruction fire on Sunday, June 8th. It was a quick response, an aggressive attack led by our 3 chiefs. Nobody was hurt. Fire was cleaned up real quick. It could have spread very easily down that road. So that was a good thing. And then, as everybody might know, that they lost a fireman over here in Union Beach. Our fire department will be, well, they requested assistance from our fire department during the fire. And as well as that, they are on a standby for the funeral, which will be happening, I believe, tomorrow, Stanley? Saturday, the funeral will be happening. So I just want to thank the firemen. Actually, the Union Beach Fire Department wanted me to thank the firemen for their participation, and they want to thank them for standing by all day Saturday while they go through the motions of sending one of their own out. So that's it. Communications petitions, we have any? Request for Jersey Fusion Basketball LLC to hold a 3-on-3 basketball tournament at Count Basie Park on August 16th and 17th, 2014, approved by the Special Events Committee. Has this been approved already, Stan?
It was sent to us to review, and we recommend their approval to you.
And real quick, for the record, is this their first time? This isn't their first time.
No, this is-
like.
This is the second time.
Mm-hmm.
The Parks and Rec co-sponsors this event, and in return, members of the Jersey Fusion run basketball clinics for our children.
Yeah, did I just see something there? Is there a date for that? Yeah, here it is. Oh, yeah. Okay.
August 16th and 17th.
Make that motion. Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. We have ordinances on. Does anybody, go ahead. But yeah, anybody from the public would like to comment on the resolutions that are on the agenda? Seeing no comment, do I have a motion to close? Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So we will do a consent of agenda from 14-156 to 14-159. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
14-160, a resolution authorizing change order number 2 related to the contract with CMS Construction, Inc. for the Riverside Gardens Park repair and project.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Proclamations, do I have any proclamations tonight?
Council President, before we move on, I just wanted to thank Christine Ballard. I don't know if you had an opportunity to take a look at the supporting documentation for that change order, but there were a number of things that were identified while we were restoring Riverside Gardens Park. There were a number of things that were identified that we were not addressed in the original survey of that
I
project.
think the council's aware of it, it's in their packet.
So I just wanted to thank Christine for her efforts to make sure that we did all of those repairs once and right, rather than having to go back and revisit it at a later date.
Christine, thank you very much.
Christine.
Proclamations. Payment of vouchers. Resolution for payment of bills amounting to $1,410,285.75.
Move.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Outstanding. Old business. New business. Audience, anybody from the audience like to make a comment or have anything to say? This will be your time, yeah.
Hi, should I come up to the?
Sure can. I just need your name and address for the record.
My name is Paul Michelle. I live on 22 Oaks Road in Little Silver.
Paul, we never met, but we met.
I think you might have met my wife or something like that.
Yes, I did.
Can you repeat your last name for me?
What's that?
Can I get your last name again?
Moschella, Moschella, if you're Italian, Moschella if you're American.
Well, now you're Rochelle, that's how I'm working with it,
Okay.
right? Give me an option, that's how I'm dealing with that one. All right, go ahead, Paul,
Yeah,
sorry.
basically last November, I met with the town council and discussed my idea for the tennis courts in Marine Park. And they seemed to be somewhat receptive. I did meet with Stan, Juanita, May Mena, a couple of other folks were there. And then I sent the proposal in. I didn't really hear an affirmative or any kind of movement on the proposal. And I was wondering what the town was looking to do with the courts, if there's any other proposals, and if they'd like to hear my ideas on what we should do with Marine Park as a nonprofit organization that looks to promote the sport of clay court tennis, not hard court tennis, because they're two different sports. And for old seniors, for youth, I have support and sponsorship from the USTA, a community of tennis people in Red Bank and surrounding areas that would use the courts. And the cost would be, I think, somewhat minimal for Red Bank if they're able to give a lease for $1 a year for 20 years. And make use of the courts because the area is lying fallow in the weeds, literally and figuratively.
And Paul, this is just for the record, just let me give the council a little bit of background. Paul and his wife obviously live in Little Silver, and Paul and his wife, and I don't know if I think your family is two very avid tennis players, correct?
We introduced tennis to the
You got a nice
young age.
court, New York.
Yeah.
So I have not seen the presentation or what you have to propose.
Okay.
I guess it was brought before the committee, and I know I was out of town at the last council meeting, and I know there was discussion about the tennis courts. Do you have a packet to hand each one of the council members up here, or has Juanita, has the Parks and Rec Committee received that? Go ahead, Stan, I'm sorry.
Council President, at the last meeting, there was, Paul was not here, but there were some other representatives that said that they had a proposal that had been, they suggested modified. I don't know if it was or not, but I did take a copy of that and distribute it to the committee. The committee had planned to review same and also to follow up with a follow-up meeting with you and the borough attorney, because we can't just go and say, yes, there's a procedure that has to be followed. So they wanted to maybe discuss the proposal again. They were looking at other options, but really focusing on other infrastructure problems down there at Marine Park first. We had issues with our sewer lift station, we had issues with the electrical, and until we decided where that equipment was going to be and what we could and could not do with that, we couldn't really go forward with the recreational part of it. That was sort of the biggest part of the delay, but I think the committee is ready to now start addressing the recreational side of it, and we'll be reaching out to you to have a meeting to discuss what your thoughts are. I'm hearing some things slightly different than what we had heard before. Might be better for a more favorable thing for them to consider. And we'll be reaching out to you probably tomorrow to set something up for next week.
Stanley, do we have what Paul has?
Yeah, we have his original
what Paul has?
proposal.
Yeah.
And I wasn't, because he wasn't here, I wasn't sure it was the same proposal, so I took a copy of what the people had last week and gave it, sent it to the committee. So, and I think the next step is probably to meet with you and make sure that we're all talking about the same thing and have the attorney there so that we can talk with our CFO and the attorney about if we wanted to entertain the proposal, how we go about doing it. We can't just say, okay, Paul, it's yours, we probably have to do an RFP and seek other proposals.
Well, that's just standard operating procedure right there. Hey, Paul, let me ask you a question. Little Silver has tennis courts at Markham Place, right?
The hard court.
Yeah, I know, yeah. Are there tennis courts anywhere else?
Hard court.
I'm curious. In Little Silver, I'm just curious.
Oh, the high school. has
Sickles,
courts?
no,
There used
Sickles.
to be tennis courts over by the public boat launch in Little Silver.
That's
Yeah, there's still 2 courts there.
But let me ask you a question. I guess what I'm gonna, how does the borough handle scheduling of those tennis courts? Just out of curiosity, or do they, or they don't at all? First come, first serve?
That's it, yeah. They're public courts that don't really, but they're not the same thing as playing on a clay court.
Oh, I understand that. Oh, I get it. Oh,
Okay.
trust me, I get it. I realize, I know the difference. I've dealt with the tennis courts, been on the council 12 years now, so I never knew anything, the difference between them, but I do know the difference, trust me. So listen, if we have what you have, Juanita, the parts that Stanley's got it, give him like 4 weeks to get back with you. If he doesn't get back with you, I'm sure somebody on this council or myself, you get a call from somebody, let you know that. And of course, you got my name, don't be afraid to track me down as well.
Okay.
Okay? And we'll take a look at it. What your wife was explaining to me sounded pretty exciting, but we'll see how that goes. And like Stanley says, if anything happens in that direction, standard procedure is, by law, to some degree, to keep it simple, that it would have to go out for public bid. For like if you wanted to do something with the tennis courts, whatever it is, lease, whatever, we have to give everybody the opportunity to take a look at that. So, be more than
This
happy.
is public bid for a nonprofit
Yeah, this
organization.
is a nonprofit.
Well, okay, so maybe that's a stipulation to take it left where we don't need it, but like I said, I really don't know what's in the packet, but if we'll take a look at it.
I think really what we should be doing is that the proposal's been presented to Parks and Rec, let Parks and Rec come back with an opinion or a recommendation as to us. I know that you've explained what, you as a resident of Little Silver have done, what Little Silver has followed. Matter of fact, I think Danny's not here, but maybe we can look into that. But I think let Parks and Rec and Ms. Lewis come back and give the recommendations. And I think it would be appropriate that if that proposal is hand-delivered to Ms. Lewis today, and Ms. Lewis can instruct Mr. Sickles to reach out to you and potentially give a presentation before the Parks and Rec.
Okay. The proposal was already emailed, so it's not really, and it hasn't been furthered or finalized simply because we hadn't gotten direction from the town and the significant cost and even just getting the plans.
With respect to the bidding, I'm pretty sure, even though it's a non-profit and it's not run by the borough, there's going to be some sort of public bid required, even if there are, because potentially there's other non-profits that want to run it. I don't know.
Mr. DuPont, I do have a copy of, I don't know if your ordinance is, purposes for which leases for a public purpose may be made. And,
Yeah, that might be the case. I'm familiar.
and
I'm
it's
familiar
got
with-
all these listings
I'm
of how you
familiar-
can.
I'm familiar with the statute with the exceptions of the public bidding. The
Well,
question
you
is,
don't have to do,
but we're not at that stage. I think what we're.
No, but I want to make it clear that I think due to the fact that it is a nonprofit and it is an activity for the promotion of health, safety, morals, and general welfare of
But
the
again,
community.
we don't know. That's
Well,
the
I'm
sec-
looking at the ordinance here.
I'm not saying you're not. What I'm saying is that we haven't reached that stage.
I would have to see the thing.
I'm just
I would have to see the
wondering
thing. If you're gonna lease a piece of property from the borough of Redmond for $1 for 20 years, I would be like, wait a minute, I'm gonna give a piece of property away for
I don't
20 years, it's up
think-
to a nonprofit?
Well, you gave 51 Monmouth away to a
Yeah,
nonprofit
what do you
for
mean?
$1.
Wait a minute.
To the
Either
mayor's
that or
nonprofit.
inherit priorities and put $1.8 million into it to fix it, which the borough didn't want to do.
Wait for a dollar.
Mr. Murphy, and Councilman Murphy, I don't really think that that discussion needs to be held this evening. I
No,
think
I'm
the
just saying
purpose
it's
of-
not, it's something
That's
that Red
subject-
Bank has done in the past.
I'm not debating that now. All I'm saying is that the next argument that has to come forth is from the Parks and Rec.
Yes.
So, Mr.
So we'll move it in that direction.
Was just simply, he said he'd email it to us. Chairwoman, Ms. Lewis is going to respond, and so I think that's the procedure.
I just have one quick question. Has anything changed from what we originally saw in November?
To my knowledge, no. I mean,
So
the
the
evidence.
structure the same terms, everything is the same?
Everything is consistent, however, we need to get town engineers working with architects to understand if this can be done. That the issue is how much should I invest in this project? If it can't be done, it can't be done, because we have to raise the lower court, basically put a rock bed.
That's what's changed. What's changed is what we need to do with our infrastructure. I'm sure it's different than what you may have anticipated, and that's why I think we need to meet
Okay.
and make sure we're all talking apples to apples.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think.
And also, this is unique. We have not, in my knowledge, done anything like this for a 20-year term. We've done leases to nonprofits for Boys Club and et cetera. We've done leases for parking garages. But this is unique, so
I think-
we can do it, but there's a procedure that has to be followed.
Right, and I really think that just give it to Parks and Rec. Parks and Rec is a very efficient committee. Its leader is fearless, so I think if the discussion would just lend itself, and I'm not debating the second issue, I'm not here to debate that. I'm just saying the proper protocol is to send, I don't need any engineering inspections now, is to send it to the Parks and Rec committee. And let's just let them
Well, the
come back
question
with
was brought, but it was brought up at the last meeting, that, the mayor had said that we couldn't accept bids, but when in fact, that's not true. It's a nonprofit, and there are different situations where you can give.
I thought he questioned whether we needed to accept bids.
I think you may be accurate. I think the discussion though is first.
I don't think you can really get an answer to any of this yet because you're too premature in the process. If the town decided that, in fact, this is something that would make sense under certain circumstances, they would then come up with some specifications that would allow someone like this gentleman or anybody else that had a similar type project to offer something. But until those criteria are identified, it's premature. Yes, there are circumstances where a town can make its property available to a nonprofit because it furthers their interest of the town, and there's instances, as Stanley has indicated. So nothing's off the table, but I think, as Mr. Dupont indicates, once the town decides it wants to go in a certain direction, it then has to lay out the criteria, and once those criteria are out there, everyone can focus on those and put their proposals together.
Yeah, and sir, I think we have your contact information correct if it's been sent by November, so hopefully within the next week to 10 days, Stanley Sickles will ask you to come in and certainly discuss it, so,
Great.
thanks.
Have you had any alternate proposals for the property at this point? I mean, because it sits there as an eyesore when I drive by once every week or 2 weeks. Others might look at it from their office, and I'm just curious as to what other potential alternatives. I know
What
Stan
other
mentioned the
options?
infrastructure issues which take time.
What other options? You talk about other options. What are these other options you speak of?
But wait. You're asking other options, and at this point in time, the Parks and Rec Committee still hasn't come back with a viable option.
Well, Mr. Sickles has spoken about,
But I think Mr. Sickles is not the chairman of this committee.
Well, then-
Juanita Lewis is.
then
And-
Ms. Lewis.
Yeah,
can you
but
tell
I
us
guess
what
the
other
problem going down
options?
that path is that even if you had discussions, or even if you had hypothetical situations that aren't real, why would you bring forth the discussions?
Mr. DuPont, in the name of transparency, I'm asking a very simple question here.
You are not,
They have spoken about different options for the
how would
last
you,
two meetings.
how would you know that?
They said it with their words.
Yeah, but if the option isn't viable, and the option is just a hypothetical,
Well,
wouldn't you
I just
want?
think
a
that's
con-
very not
Yeah, but how is that not transparent? Right now, the chairman, or the chairwoman, hasn't presented her idea. She may come back with a couple ideas.
I
So-
do know that the Navasink River Rowing Club down there has definite interest in that area for
But not
potential.
yours.
Know exactly where the courts are. Yeah, they've done drawings and things like that, measured out the area to see if the the boats would fit there. I don't know that they've made a formal pitch to it, but I know they have certainly spoken.
I still think to allow Councilwoman Lewis to come back with her comments. She's been a leader in this community for years. She's a strong-willed woman, very independent, I might add.
Mr. DuPont,
She's going to come
she
back.
can speak for herself, can't she? Why are you?
Well, because it just...
Yeah, you want to...
I'm ready, I'm done.
Hey, Paul, thank you very much. Appreciate that, man.
Thank you.
We'll get back with you. Thank you. Thank you, Paul.
You know, I just want to ask one question to Mr. Sickles. Mr. Sickles, you know, the tennis courts are a valuable asset and...
The clay courts?
Yes.
That were destroyed in the storm, the clay courts?
Yes, and they were
Okay.
probably in a storm many times, but they are a valuable and unique asset. And what I wanted to ask was, did you apply for FEMA money to restore them?
There is no FEMA money for restoration of recreational
Okay,
activities.
that's
We
fine.
checked into it.
Anybody
And
else?
there's
in the
no
audience?
insurance money for that.
Okay, thank you.
What's your name and address, please?
Anthony Sotero. I live on Spring Street and have business in town. First, Art, I wanted to thank you and the fire department for coming to the service for my grandfather and speaking. It was greatly appreciated by my father and the family.
Thank you.
I wanted to come and check out what was going on with the tennis courts because my office sits right at the top of the hill, and I do look at those tennis courts every day. And it is an abomination, so to speak, that the waterfront, as most of us know in this town, as I look at the picture behind your head there, is the best asset that this town has that is underutilized, I believe. So it is disheartening to see a year and a half plus after the storm that nothing has been done. I understand there's a lot of things that go into it. As most of you know, I did organize a charity organization after Sandy, working with victims, and also led several initiatives with local governments after that with a lot of demolition. In the area, we demoed over 300 houses in Union Beach and Kingsburg. So I'm well adept at working with some of these issues that can arise. I guess I offer my services to help with whatever we can do, whether that's in organizing a charity event, which Ed knows I worked with River Center a lot on the Red Bank Wedding Walk, to raise funds for whatever is the best suited for that, whether it be the tennis courts or there's something else that Stanley, because of what has come up with the infrastructure, we've been working since Sandy on how do you develop and build communities towards a sustainable future, not just doing something to do it, but that it's going to better all parties involved. So I'll definitely touch base with you after, and whoever wants to touch base with me, I'd love to.
Thank you, Anthony. Appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Anthony, you also keep the library in the back of your mind.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anybody else from the audience wish to comment? Name and address, just for the record,
Yes,
sir.
no problem.
Thank you.
My name is Daniel Pontone. I live on 141 Harding Road. I'm also
Little Silver?
Red Bank.
Red Bank, okay.
I'm also a podiatrist in Red Bank. I've been playing on those courts for 25 years. I look at those courts now. Marine Park is the jewel of the Riviera. You guys, 3 years. Do I have to get Trump in here to fix it? Come on, guys, let's get it together and get it fixed. It's a shame. I go by and it's tears to my eyes that I can't play tennis anymore. I have to go somewhere else. Please fix it. The bureaucracy is just destroying this country. You gotta get it together, okay? Thank you very much.
Thank you. You know, for years, those tennis courts were maintained and taken care of by, what's his name, Stan?
Harold Potts.
Hold on, one time, Nicoletti. And listen, I mean, I never realized either, but the clay courts are, I don't know if it's so much to say expensive to maintain or difficult to maintain, but there is a procedure to maintaining clay courts more than any type of tennis court there is. I always thought that we had a good little thing going with him as far as he really maintained them courts. Basically, what we did was drop off the clay.
He's in on this too, Art.
Hang on a second. So, you know, I understand now that the courts are gone. I don't know, I assume it's going to take a lot of money to do it. I don't know if there's money out there to do it, and I know Paul is going to turn some stuff in, so hopefully we can work something out. But I know the courts have been there for a long time, and we had a nice little system going there for a while, but hopefully we can get them back up and running. Anybody else from the audience?
Yeah, John Hutton, lives in Fisher Place in Red Bank. A couple of things I want to mention. First of all, it's the first time I've heard that there is no money in the FEMA to do the courts. Now, I understood part of that whole deal was going to be some money allocated to do the courts. I understand that's out now. Is that right?
We were told it wasn't eligible for FEMA funding.
Okay.
Other things were, but that, the courts.
Okay, I thought that was going to be part of the whole deal. Evidently, that's out. I don't know about this other proposal. I know there's things out there. There's two things I want to say. First of all, I do have a list, and I mentioned this a number of times, 246 people played at those courts in the mornings, the afternoons. They all signed the sheet and said they wanted to continue to play there. Most of them went to Little Silver. And I go over there, and I play over there now because that's the only place I can play. And they all ask me, they're constantly saying, when are those courts going to open again? When are we going to be able to go back to Red Bank? We'd really like to play down there rather than go to Little Silver. Not that there's anything wrong with Little Silver. But they want to do that. I gave instructions to kids once a week. They brought kids in.
Once a week or 1 week?
Huh?
Once a week or 1 week?
Once a week
Once a
during the
week.
summer.
During the summer?
For 4 years they did this.
Okay.
30 to 40 kids would show up, 6 to 12 years old, some of them a little older than that. And they got some basic instruction, got into it a little bit. Some of them turned out to be pretty good. That's gone. And I've had some people come up and say, when are we going to do that again? So it's not like this is just a side issue and nobody ever used them, and why should we worry about it? Why should we get involved in it? It's a viable thing. And I've been playing down there for 18 years myself.
I agree.
Well, I don't know, too many people don't seem to agree, but that's okay. I just like to see some kind of a proposal that we can look at, and if the borough is not obligated to give the money, we fund it. It should be something we can look at. I mean, that's all we're looking at. Look at it and say, is this viable? It's not going to cost the borough any money. Can we do this? Otherwise, it's going to look, it looks terrible the way it is now.
Thank you. Anybody else from the audience?
One more, please. Hi, I'm Tom Curtis at 62 Woodward, here in Red Bank. A group, I'm in support of what Paul Michelle has already spoken this evening. A group of us have formed a foundation, the Red Bank Clay Court Tennis Foundation. We registered it with the state, we got an EIN number, we've applied to the IRS, the tax-free status, that's in process of being looked at. We have articles of association bylaws, the entire works. We're forming that organization not to be in competition with the city, but to assist the city in helping them restore and plant the courts. We can raise funds, we can do things for the city. And so my question, and I think the question's been asked, is what are the next steps? How do we proceed so that we can get these ideas in front of you, not on a competitive basis, but on an assistance basis? And that's really what we're trying to do.
I'd be glad to give me your information, glad to meet with you and discuss your nonprofit
Okay.
and see how that can dovetail it. And we'll gather all the information and share it with the community. I'll meet with you afterwards, Mr. Taro, and make sure I have the current contact information, and we'll share it with the community.
And I guess the CFO would be included in those discussions, since
Yes.
you know,
Yes.
if they're not for profit who's raising money, she could probably
John, thank you.
a better explanation
Thank
as
you.
to how the funds could come into.
Yes, but I do want to say, in all offense to the borough, there are some issues with the proposal which we had to make some decisions with regard to the infrastructure. Because of the decisions we had to make, there may be some modifications to the proposal. Some things we could do, some things we couldn't do. And those took some research, they took some considerations to options of what we could do with our infrastructure. And they had to be decided before we went and talked about raising the courts and or how big an area we can have left for the courts. So it wasn't that we weren't thinking about the courts. It was, we had to make some decisions first before we can go ahead, and we had to prioritize. And we never know, the estimates that we came up with 4 weeks after the storm are certainly different than what the actual costs are now. So we had to prioritize first and go forward. Now we're at a point where the contracts have been let, that we have some grant money, we've gotten the grants that we can get, and we're moving forward with the infrastructure work, and we will work on the concepts or proposals that the committee will consider to bring back to the council with regard to the recreational opportunities.
Thank you. Anybody else from the audience wish to comment? Just need your name and address for the record.
Kate Trigiano, 22 Layton Ave.
Thank you, Kate. That's okay.
And, I have some questions as well as statements, so I don't want to assume anything, because that makes a, there's a park, and it might be happening, but it might not be happening, and it might be where Bellhaven is, and it might not be, and there's a grant, and it might be running out. I don't know if that grant runs out. I know it's circumstantial. All I know is I live near there. I need the information before I say anything, because it's like, well, that's not the case. This is the case. So I want to know, when does that grant run out? What are the circumstances of it? Is Bellhaven really the best location? Or not just because of the environment, like yes, the environment, but here we are talking about a park that was wiped out by Sandy, and Bellhaven is in the middle of cattails. So is that ground even stable enough to be investing $500,000 into? And, is there somewhere else we could put it that makes a little more sense?
The park or the tennis courts, what are we talking about?
I'm talking about a park on the west side.
The Bellhaven Park,
Yes.
it is a park, it will remain a park.
It's a nature preserve,
It's
right?
a
Right.
park, it's a Bellhaven Park.
But there was a proposal for putting a park, like a kid park
There's a
there.
proposal to put additional features to make it more useful to a broader
Right,
representation of the community.
right, but,
And we're finalizing those proposals. We had a lot of comment over the past 2 council meetings.
okay,
Parks and Recreation Committee is taking those comments seriously
right,
and looking at options based on those comments.
okay,
And we work well, we've had preliminary discussions with DEP. They're in favor of all of the things that we had proposed originally. However, the council, the committee is considering the comments of the public, and we will be moving forward. That grant, we have to have that money committed before 2015? May of 2015.
oh,
If you want to give me your name
So-
after the meeting, I can keep you informed.
yeah, I would love that, just because I feel like $500,000 is a lot of money, at least to me.
That's
I'm like, oh my God.
And I would be glad to take your name and give it to the Parks and Rec Committee, and they can keep you
Yeah,
informed as well.
yeah, I just think, that street is, I just want it to be accessible. I think about if there's any other way for it to be more accessible to more of the kids than in the side pocket. I know one of the concerns about that location in the past was a lot of mischievous stuff goes on that trail. Kids are smoking pot on that trail. Right. That location is going to still be that pocket location. Let's put it out in the public, Maybe it's time for an urban park with a high fence. There are aesthetically pleasing high fences that have been, developed in urban places, It might make it easier to lock it up, especially a park with a spray feature. These are just things that, I want it to be something that we're proud of. I wanted something to be closer to lunch break, to the places where kids can use it, not on a dead-end street, where there's no businesses near it if you want to grab a drink or go to the bathroom or, there's options. And $500,000 is a lot of money. So I get like, whoa, let's do something that people can see.
We've already spent $68,000 on the design.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I mean, that's ridiculous. That's crazy.
I know, but that's where we are, and I've heard in about 2 months, it will be out for public discussion, so in about 2 months, that's why I'm saying.
Yeah, I won't waste any more time. It's like you're saying, it's all hypothetical and everything is hypothetical. Putting any infrastructure in that location seems bizarre to me.
I just have a quick question for you. When's the last time that you were down at Bellhaven and went in and took a look at what it looks like? And when's the last time you were down
I
there?
live at 22 Layton,
Uh-huh.
so I walk down all the time. I just had a baby like a couple weeks ago, so I haven't been walking down there with my baby because it's
Well, no,
not
I-
structurally doesn't make sense.
Well, right, but I mean, it's, the way it looks right now, it's not open and accessible for the public.
Right, but let's be logical, okay? That land is not safe or sound.
We wouldn't build if it wasn't safe or sound. There's a school that was built in the same vicinity.
Well, why make more mistakes?
And we're having
If they're
problems with
having
it.
problems with theirs,
You're having
Listen,
a problem
listen,
with,
listen,
you're having problems with the school.
You made your statement, it's well noted. And it's
Right,
being
but
looked
why
at.
are you laughing? Why would you build more structure in the middle of
Listen,
cattails?
the borough engineer and the DEP
Right.
agree that what we propose is an ideal use for that park.
Okay. I mean,
So-
I know that if that park is having that many issues, why are we gonna invest $500,000 literally in the middle of cattails? That's wet
It's not in the
land.
middle of cattails, it's upland
What
soil
other part of
there.
Bellevue, but there's a sinkhole
Listen.
at the middle of that street right now.
Listen, I'm sure the DEP wouldn't let us do anything there if that was the case, and they're still doing
They're
testing
still
at that
doing
time.
the house on the
But
water.
your statement is well noted.
Okay.
It's well noted. Okay, then thank you very much. Congratulations
Next
on
time
the
I get
game.
laughed at, I'll come back.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, we're going into closed session. Do I have a,
Before we do that, Mr. President, I just wanted to, we were all passed a piece of correspondence from the Municipal Excess Liability Joint Insurance Fund. Superstorm Sandy flood loss claims, the deadline to submit responses to proposed settlement of flood loss claims is July 15th, 2014. So please familiarize yourself with that. And I also wanted to note that the borough engineer has submitted her engineer status report for June 2014 with all of the ongoing projects and improvements to our parks and infrastructure. So please note the engineer's report. Thank you.
I'll make a motion to go in exec.
Second.
To
All in
discuss
favor?
personnel and litigation.
do I have a motion to go into executive session?
Yes, made that motion.
Thank you. We're going to have a brief adjournment. We're going into executive session. There'll be no action taken. It's a personnel matter. Thank you.
Those people that